Lots of great stuff is coming.
Are the rest of us?
Is it an online Twitch stream without tech goblins? Like,
No.
it's like a thing that's needed.
This is a test.
Yeah.
But the chat doesn't realize this is all necessary setup for the sort of
This is the
instant credits warp
tension.
glitch that we're going to be using for this week's Roulette speedrun.
I thought it was part of the random roulette. He rolled a mute DM. That's what happened.
Who donated the music DM? Who donated that?
Language of stream, sign language.
I have no mic and I must DM.
I just want to go back and watch the VOD already, where it's just the
Warrior
awkward
6 sound is
you
good
four
now.
sat there silently watching me mouth at the screen.
I think we're
Hello
good.
everybody, welcome into the Phoenix Wacky and the start of our No Kid Hungry stream. There are too many children in the US needlessly going hungry, and No Kid Hungry does amazing work delivering food and meals to those who need it. Nutritious, good, healthy meals. That's it's still low. Thank you very much, my friends. That's up there a bit. Kick it up a notch. Okay, how's that, folks? Right, so yes, we are having a bit of tech problems as always. How's that? Is that better, everybody? Should be a bit louder now. How's that? Give me a check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. How's it doing? Okay. Looks like it's coming up nicely.
There we go.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay, thank you, Reed, my friend. Okay, big hello to Reed, by the way. Warrior Streak over there in chat. Our leader-in-chief, I don't think that's a word, who is over at the Games Tavern there. And thank you for organising all of this wonderful, wonderful week of streams and everything that's going on here. Also, thank you to my wonderful guests here. Michael and Marin, you may recognise from the channel, those of you who are regular visitors to Phoenix Wacky. But we are joined for the first time, and very honoured to be joined by James Haeck and Kelsey Dionne of the Arcane Library. Thank you very much. An absolute pleasure to see you both. Now, we are going to be jumping into things here. All of your donations can influence play. If you head on over to the link here, I'm going to pop that in the chat for you. Boom. Okay, head over to that link there and see all of the various options that are available. You can see all of those ones on screen over there, little items and things that can be done for our intrepid adventurers. But if... Hang on, did that work? Well... Come on, OBS, you got this. But yes, there are those various options on screen there, as well as a couple of new ones add to this list here. There is the add an NPC option that we have enjoyed before. Bring your NPC into the Wackyverse, including our campaign games coming through the week. And also, there is the option to give a little spin of a wheel. What wheel, you say? Well, this is one-shot roulette, so it's this wheel. Here it goes, down there in the corner. For example, my roll here is Wild Magic Surge. Of course it is.
What else would it be?
There are all sorts of fun shenanigans in that wheel there, so please give it a spin and let's see what pops up. And just tell us which play you would like to spin for, and we shall see what happens in our adventures here. Apart from that, I cannot really tell you what's going to happen because it is one-shot roulette, which means it is all randomly generated. We will be randomly rolling the location and the plot of this one-shot in just a moment. But before that, let us properly meet these fine, fine folks that have joined us today for this fine, fine cause. Going around the overlay clockwise as I see it, James Haeck, welcome to the channel, an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Hello, hello. Oh,
Hi.
it's very good to be here. It's wonderful to be here, especially after interacting with you on Twitter for all this time, and now all of a sudden we finally get the chance to play together.
Yes, thank you.
My name's James Haeck. I'm the senior game designer at Ghostfire Gaming. Currently, our big project coming out right now is Fables, Citadel of the Unseen Sun, a dark fantasy adventure for 5th edition, and more than that, a monthly subscription adventure service. I think it's something you really ought to check out, especially if you're fans of vampires, undead, all things sinister and creepy, because that is absolutely the theme. of what we're doing right now with this very first entry in the Fables saga. Other than that, I like to think of myself as just a guy who likes D&D.
Excellent. Well, you're in good company here. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, links over there in chat for the fantastic Fables available from Ghostfire Gaming there. And our leader-in-chief here, Warrior Streak, has just done stuff with Ghostfire, so excellent. Glad to hear that. And also do check out their Eldritch Lorecast as well. Fantastic stuff every week. An absolute pleasure to watch, even if apparently the #1 podcast on the internet about D&D, which Ben very boldly says right in front of Sean Moen every week.
We like to have fun here.
That's excellent. Yeah, wonderful stuff and interesting insights and good banter to boot, which is always a good thing. Moving around the overlay here, we have our good friend Courtney the Fox, the Vulpin over here, also known as Kelsey from the Arcane Library. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much. And I would say the same thing as James. We've been friends on Twitter, and you guys have run my adventures so many times. So I'm so grateful we get to play in person finally.
Yes.
In person. But yes, I'm Kelsey, the Arcane Library. I run a little 5th edition third-party publishing house, and we're always putting out 5th edition adventures. And then I'm currently working on like a modified D&D called Shadow Dark RPG that's sort of got some old school fun built into it. So that's what I'm doing.
Thank you. Yes, all of the links are in chat, by the way, everyone. We do have Ghostfire Gaming there, Mr. Haeck over there on the Twitter and the Instagram, and Kelsey's Arcane Library website and Twitter there as well. Okay, thank you. Down in the bottom left. All right, Michael.
Yep. There you go.
There you go.
It's been a while actually since I've been on stream anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of other things going on, but yeah, I've played Xenacus for a long time, and I've unfortunately known this DM guy for 10 years or so now.
Yep, it's been a while.
Almost, yeah.
Part of the longest one-shot in existence.
Yes, our offline Eberron game, which started as a one-shot on Halloween 3 years ago. Yes, indeed. Okay, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for joining us today. And you might know her as Esmeralda de Avenir in Barovia and beyond, and also is in the offline game. Marin, good to see you.
Hello, yes, it's me. I don't know if you need me to say anything else. Yes, I've also known this guy and this guy. I've probably pointed in the wrong direction for about 10 years. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Kelsey and James. This is going to be amazing. I cannot wait.
Yes, indeed. And it is going to be amazing. Let's just see what we have in store. What is coming up on this session of One Shot Roulette? We have 2 things to roll for. We have our location, and we have our plot line to find out here. So, first things first. Joey Haeck, if you would do us the honor, do you have a D20 close at hand?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, now-
Right here.
Excuse me, the audacity to cover up your fine faces for just a moment. Boom. Okay, there are all of our possible locations, and I've been switching them out. All of the ones that we have visited before are gone. We have some new kids in the mix here. So, where are we going to be headed for today's adventure?
We're headed to whatever that result on number 10 is.
Number 10. Oh, okay. Get your. Okay, call upon your gods and gird your Olympian muscles and get that olive oil ready to sheen up those pecs and 6-packs as we're heading to Theros. And watch out for the Hydra.
Nice.
Hydra?
Yeah, you want to watch out. Yeah, there's this global network of evildoers. You want to watch out. Dangerous. Okay, anyway, sorry. Yes. Theros is our location. Okay, our first visit to said place. Okay, thank you very much. And pop that away again. Boop. Okay, and let us switch over here a moment. Ta-ding. Okay, so here is what we like to use for our generator here of the various one-shot things. Let me throw a link in chat if you would also like to try out this slightly mad style of play. I think that's gone through. Has that gone through yet? Let's see if that jumps in there. Okay, yep, thank you for donations, everyone. Thank you so much, absolute pleasure. Right, okay, so we are going to be rolling on this table here You can see there are 10 randomly generated things. I'm going to click for more so we can just see there's no shenanigans here. I have not looked at these beforehand, so I'm refreshing right now. Boop. Okay, so that is a new batch of 10 locked and loaded. Now, if the 4 of you could look away from stream for just a moment, as we're going to give our people at home a sneak peek of what's in store, but you lots need to keep eyes off, I'm afraid. Okay, so
Over there.
Kelsey, could you please roll a d10?
I can
Thank you
indeed.
very much.
What do we get? We have a 3.
A 3, thank you. Okay, folks, count them with me. 1, 2. What's it gonna be? 3. Okay, we skipped the first part because that says what kind of character you are. You are not evil sorcerers. Although
That you know of.
Darn.
That you know of.
Yeah, says you.
Oh yeah, that's railroading. Sorry, that's. Excuse me, indeed. Okay, so here we are, folks. Feast your eyes. It's a bit of a hefty one. It's actually going off the bottom of the screen here. Let me scroll down for those.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, okay. Excellent, excellent.
I like the sound of this already.
Okay, folks, there you are. You got the eyes on. Hope you're ready. Okay. Excellent. Massive thank you to Papa Dragon, my friend. Good to see you as always. Not such a happy time for our poor players here, as Papa Dragon has donated a monster drop. So,
How could you?
Already.
thank you, my friend. Thank you so much.
We're going to be fighting this monster in sort of the blank void already.
All right, thank you so much. So there we go. I'm going to go back to our main screen here, so our friends can look back at stream. Boop. Okay, we are back now. I am going to make a few notes here on this madcap adventure that is about to go off here. Could you, fine folks, please tell me what happens and where are you? What do we see as we look upon your character for the first time? And what are they doing as a nearby surface, be it a wall or a tree trunk or a floor or the ceiling, that could be a little painful for Arafo, opens up in a shimmering portal, and a forest gnome with an angry bird on his staff comes through and offers you riches, heroics, the chance to do good deeds, unless you're an evil sorcerer. What are you up to as we start our adventure and you are sent to Theros through this portal? Sazana. James Haeck.
Well, the fact of the matter is this: you'll find Susanna Fat Rabbit, a noble of the great city of Waterdeep on the shining sword coast of Faerun. She is deep in a murky grotto, along with 4 other halflings who are all along with her and paying worship to the vengeful queen of the sea, the goddess Umberlee. She has her trident of fish command raised high above her head, which, because she's a halfling, is only about 3.5 feet off the ground. And speaking in the language of the sea, Aquan, a great, long, and lengthy sermon that has set all the dogs in my neighborhood
Excellent, excellent. I'm role-playing one of those halflings right now. Hello. Sorry, just crouching down here at my standing desk here. Okay, actually, I can be one of those halflings. As Chet Surfs Up comes over to you, Susanna, and is like, "Hey, Susanna, look, there's a totally gnarly portal opening up on the cave wall over there. What's going on?"
Oh, this must be exactly what we're looking for, Chet. Surfs up indeed. This might be a messenger from the Queen of the Sea coming straight to us. Everybody, assume the position. Hang 10.
They're all ready. Prepare themselves. And a rather confused looking forest gnome hobbles through. Oh, what on earth are you all doing? And
Tarnation, you ain't who I thought you were at all.
And we smash cuts to our Vulpin friend Courtney. What is happening over there?
So Courtney is currently in a dark, low-ceilinged tavern, a place called the Silver Eel, and it's in a smoky city of no real name. It's called the City of Heaven Score Smokes, we'll call it.
Nice.
And then she's about to snatch a bag of gold off of somebody she's gambling against. And suddenly a portal opens behind her, and her thin, kind of sickly silhouette is outlined in this portal as somebody steps through, and she snatches her hand away and sees somebody she's never seen before step through it.
Thank you. Okay, and moving on to Asagash, our servant.
You see the servant, quite gruff, scarred-looking fella, quite intimidating to look at, leaning against a tree, and he seems to be playing some sort of very strange musical instrument, almost bagpipe in look, but with lots of pipes and it's kind of like lots of pumps and such on it. And you can just see, just over the distance from the shot, it's on a big mountaintop monastery, and there's a bunch of monks all kind of practicing, but they're not the normal serene monks that you normally see. They're all staring over at him angrily as they're trying to focus on what they're doing, and he's playing the most ridiculous, loud, bagpipe-style noise as he's trying to calmly sing a tree, not really paying attention to anything around him.
Noted. And last but not least, our sea elf friend here, Jensran. What is going on?
Ask your doctor. The answer is right for you. She is also kind of in the awkward mindset. She's staring very intently into a pond, however. Slightly probably ignominious posture. She's sort of crouched on the bank, looking in, trying to look for, you'd assume, fish. She's very focused on this, and she doesn't actually notice the portal happening right away. But she's sort of caught some movement in the water, so she's starting to wade in, I think, as this portal opens behind her.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Right, so as the four of you are greeted by this forest gnome, they appeal to you, be it with riches or heroic deeds or the chance to do the right thing, and they also deliver some bad news. Now, I'm afraid this is a little awkward. I'm sure you are familiar with your surroundings here, but it's because your subconscious has provided you a familiar setting for your afterlife. I hope you had a good time. Condolences to those you left behind. And there's a problem, you see, though. A bit of a cross of the ways. Some wires crossed in the outer planes. I'm afraid that the various death deities that were supposed to shift you in the right places got all tangled up, and they seem to have been somewhat blocked by a rather surly god from Theros. I don't know if you're familiar. Satyrs prancing about the place. Lots of athletic competitions and beautiful architecture. You'll love it. You'll love it. But I'm afraid the death god there is trying to assert some dominance and seems to have stopped all of you being sent to the correct location. And not only is that stopping your journey into your chosen afterlife, I'm afraid that it's also thrown Theros into a bit of a disarray as well, as the planar mix-up has stopped their dead from departing the bodies. I need you to take a quick journey, find this death god, and if you'd be so kind, have them return your spirits and send them in the right place, would you? Okay, splendid.
Do I get money for it, or?
I believe, yes, at the very least. There's a couple of coins they place on the eyes. It's great, it's great.
Sold. 2 more than I have right now. Sold.
Excellent. Right.
But 2 more. That's only 1 more.
Riches of the
He's only got 1 eye.
afterlife.
He's gonna...
Yeah, you're gonna get the wrong end of that deal, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Raw deal.
And you make your way through said portal, and let us switch up. You do not find yourselves in a Eberron casino.
How unfortunate.
Unfortunately, yes.
No.
But the last thing
Nice.
this forest gnome says to you as you step through the portal and the shifting, swirling vortex that lies beyond, you do find out that you do see, a brightness in front of you as you start to make your way down through. And as you emerge on the other side, you find yourselves coming out into a very bustling street. The sound of hawkers selling their wares, the waves lapping against the quay as several large galleons are lined up along these docks with beautiful triangular sails and magnificent prowheads on them, carved in the shape of various mythical beasts. Standing atop them are sentries with large crested helms, long shields, and spears, their gold armor glistening and looking not particularly effective. But steel is much better. But hey, as you see all of the things coming and washing around you here on the docks of this Therosian? Yes, let's go with that. This Therosian city here. You see the various people in their light-coloured blues and kind of greens and whites, toga-like affairs, joined at the shoulder, moving around, chatting, carrying boxes of wares to be sold or to be delivered to their households after being purchased. Things are being unloaded from the ships. There's the smell of the sea and Yansarin. How does Yansarin react to this as a sea elf? Do they like having the smell of the ocean nearby, or is it that kind of humanoid touched, civilization touched, unnatural kind of dock smell that actually doesn't smell so good to them?
I think since she just learned that she's probably dead, she's clinging to anything familiar and is happy for the smell.
Okay, indeed. Susanna, as you grasp your trident, you're being very at home here. There are several other people with tridents around the docks as well, you see. You do hear a whisper in your voice.
No worries, little one. Here where the oceans are wild, my strength is not reduced. I am with you.
Wonderfully be praised, she is here. She is here now, even as we stand dead upon these docks. And I look around and make sure that everyone is listening. That this is as loud and as obnoxious as I can possibly be. I see all of you about me on this dock, and I know in my heart of hearts, I know in the heart of the sea itself, that you will aid us on our quest. Am I wrong?
Is this our dead quest?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so then. You seem very happy about this. So, I guess being happy is a good thing. So let's, yeah, Dad. I think.
This quest is but the first step on the road to bring me close into the bosom of my goddess. There is nothing that I would be happier. No quest that would bring me more joy and satisfaction.
Susanna, I have some mixed news. A very generous donation has been made. But that donation did afflict you with the curse of rhymes. If, for the next little while, you could rhyme for us. So you speak the doctrine of Umberlee.
Well, tarnation. There is no curse that will stop me from my heroic predation.
Bravo. Okay.
Just be lucky that you cursed a writer, because there are other folks whom this cursey idea would not be quite so brighter.
Excellent. Yes, I've done this one before. We've had this one in the Feywilds. There was a interesting beast courtesy of Frictionless Dan, another Fabricator who was all rhymes. And as soon as it went off script, it was like, Okay, thank you. Courtney, what are you doing as you do see these people speaking loud and proud about this similar problem that you seem to have been faced with as well?
Right. So, I kind of remember how I died, but not. It happened really fast. But I breathe in some of this really nice sea air and then hack up a lung because I'm almost not alive based on how low my Constitution score is. And
Just die of full stats.
yes. The worst stats ever, and I love it. I'm all hunched up. I'm like, oh, fresh air.
Clue me in.
I think I have to double check here, but I have a negative something in everything except intelligence.
Pretty close.
And well, charisma +1, -3 wisdom. So everything sounds like a good plan to me, and I am down.
Kelsey, I hope that wizard is your class, or otherwise those stats would be quite ass.
Well rhymed, and I'm mostly a cleric, so.
A really good one. Don't worry.
I am, but I'm also a warlock to two competing entities, and I've kept it this way because I have 1 level in rogue as well, and it's worked out okay. But the jig will be up soon at some point.
Yes, Susanna got off with the 2-class build, which is the best it gets. We have not found the mythic. Even here in Theros, we have not found the mythic 5-class build yet. It has not come up. It has not come up.
One day.
The forest gnome who's come through the portal with you here gathers you all on the docks as a fellow comes walking past, selling some very delicious-looking dates, glazed in honey and sprinkled with a little sea salt. He's like, "Might I interest you in these dates? Here, please, try my wares. They are delicious, fresh from the tree and the ocean, respectively."
Dead people have money.
I'm sorry?
And he kind of looking at everyone that he came with.
Check my eyes. Not yet.
The gnome, out of 4 tan, hobbles over. He's like, allow me. Yes, I'll take a little package for each of that. Thank you. Yes, here you go. Thank you. Bye. Yes. You are a little sustenance to get you through this leg of the celestial journey you are on. Now, I do believe there is a fellow here who has been charged with guiding you and finding this god. About if they let's have a look. Oh yes, here they come right on time. And I'm glad it's the first time we've tried to use this portal thing. We were using these mists before. We siphoned them off. We had them on loan from a little corner of the Shadowfell. They came in quite useful, but had some unfortunate side effects in a place called Prismia. Never mind. So we are yes, we're trying out this new thing here. But you will need it to come back. So let me lend it to. He looks around. You, good sea elf, would you please take charge of this and use it to exit this place and continue on your journeys?
Gladly. I will guard it with. I guess I don't have a life anymore, but I will guard it very carefully.
Thank you so much. So yes, just lay it out on a flat surface and think about the location. I have attuned it in your general direction, and we shall hope for your success. Please reinstate the balance that has been so upset. And he skips through. Jimmy, come on! And the bird swoops through the portal, and it closes behind them, and you are left with this inconspicuous-looking mat that kind of rolls up and becomes a very handy pocket-sized thing to tuck away. Now, a very heroic-looking fellow with a resplendent armor, being hailed and hallooed by the people around him as he strides confidently down the dock, comes towards you. Yes, good day. Yes, I did do that, yes. And twice last week, in fact. Yes, okay, yes, it comes striding towards you, his sandals flip-flopping across the dusty flagstones of the port here. And he says, aha! You, I take it, as the ones, as you are so outlandishly dressed. Are you not a little warm? It is a beautiful day here in Theros.
Very cold for since I died, really.
Yeah, it's not the best.
I see. The material afflictions no longer pestering you in your cosmic journey. Glad to
No
hear
hot
it.
flashes, that's for sure. Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Well, yes, don't worry. Here in Theros, we are very familiar with this journey upon which you are traveling. This is a land where the gods themselves walk the earth, and myths are born from dreams manifesting in the sky above us as the stars dance in their eternal, graceful waltz of Odyssey. I'm sorry, I didn't say who I was. Aklis is my name.
Loquaciously said, but it don't change the fact that we're dead. Looking for the god of death, are we? Any gods of death do you see?
Well done, you're doing so well. He looks... a poet. You're in fine company here. There are a great many fine writers and speakers. Maybe you should journey to the amphitheater and perform with your like-minded fellows before you go on your journey. What say you?
You may get some more of those, what were you looking for? Disciples or followers that we're talking about?
Are you looking for followers?
Well, now that's an interesting question. Yes, and I've just learned that I can't think of anything that rhymes with the word question.
Well, I believe that we should not dally here and get, as you say, our quest on. And he starts. Perhaps the orators and poets of the amphitheater will have some interesting information, maybe myths and legends about a portal, perchance, some way to travel into the underworld and find this god. What say you?
I say aye.
Anything to postpone the afterlife, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
What do you mean? Surely it is a glorious journey. You are going to join the fine fellows, heroes, and songwriters, musicians, dancers, the gods themselves. They will welcome you in.
Accomplish slightly more before getting to that point.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, follow me. Let us find. Oh, there's some of the temples now. They have church bells in the Reach temples. I don't know why. But let us go. So, and he starts striding through various people. And he's like, oh, it's Aklis. Hello there. Yes, I think you. He's here to save the city. Oh, yes, hello. And he leads you through as this appreciative crowd kind of parts before him as you start making your way towards the main amphitheater and area there. As you step down the tiered steps, the stone-carved steps into the sandy arena that's below, there are various poets and philosophers lying about the place, exchanging ideas and grapes and cups of wine as the trees crowd in over the edges of the amphitheater and shade it nicely from the sun, which you have mercifully escaped from. But I have died for that. But never mind. And as you make your way down there, Aklis looks over and has a look. He hails a fellow that's got a small group of people around him and says, Tindarius! You must meet these people. They are on a quest.
to find the underworld. And this curly-haired figure with a laurel leaves kind of crown, like half crown around their top of their head, the long flowing robe, steps over with a stylus and a pad there, and they're like,
Oh, really? Oh. I wonder if their deeds will be the stuff of legend. Maybe something I should write about. Shall I immortalize you fine people in verse?
Ah, are you a bard? The things we'll do. That won't be hard.
Splendid, splendid. I do love a good tale to share and orate to these appreciative people. And the people that sat around his sandaled feet just give a polite clap. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Now, what is it you seek? For it is something, if it is something that exists in legend or myth around these parts, I shall surely know the tale.
We're looking for God, I think.
Which one? There are several.
Yes.
Death. Oh. Why that one in particular? They're very, not very fun to be around.
I guess that depends on who you ask.
But indeed, yes. I shouldn't judge what people like to hang out with. Fair enough. Yes, I'm sure you'll have a lovely time. Well, the god of death. Then you seek adventures. A cave.
We found adventurers already.
No, there was a comma. I couldn't say. Adventurers. You seek a cave on a hillside, up beyond the reaches of the city. The glistening white walls merge with the gleam of the ocean. There you shall find a dark, cavernous entrance, and in its depths, guarded by the fierce Papa Dragon, you shall discover an entrance to the god of death's realm. Yes, indeed. And I have been looking to write an interesting, fun bard and song about this. The last one I had to write a tragedy. But this time, yeah.
We'll bring back a happy ending to this story for you, hopefully.
Lots of valor.
I mean, look at me. Do I look capable to you?
You look like a raisin in the corner.
Those are the greatest stories. The meek who rise up to become heroes of Theros. That's another polite pun.
Listen, friend, through the grace of Umberley, all things can be done. In fact, by the time we're back from meeting with the god of death, we'll say weren't nothing but fun.
Splendid. Now, luckily,
Not like this.
he's doing so, absolute champion. The there seems to be certain death rites, kind of Egyptian-style death rites in play here. That you were sent on your way to the afterlife with all of your worldly belongings. So you do have all of your all of your things with you, which is good.
We still have our main organs as well.
No, unfortunately, not.
No jars.
For you.
Do we also have our musical organs? That's also
For the birds. Yes.
I have organ with me actually. I need to mention.
I just love how like barbarian focused this group was. It's great. Fantastic. Okay, so as I think we might be a little generous with that. So as you realize you do have your items and equipment about you, Atlas gestures. Well then, onwards to the mountainside, please. And he strides out with you and leaves the amphitheater, and the bard friend Tindarius waves. Bye. Do come back with a fine song for me to sing of your tale and of your heroics.
At least I'm coming back.
Right. Now,
See you with the rest.
and he turns back to his adoring followers. He's like, now, anyone got a rhyme for orange? And turns around and you make your way out of the city with Atlas there, and as you pass through the streets, there are various oxen being driven through to the market, families coming by, everyone enjoying the nice weather and the relative peace and quiet. No mythic beasts or vengeful gods have been rampaging through recently, and you make your way recently, and you make your way past colonnaded temples and white stone facades with the cool interiors beyond, and courtyards glimpsed through open doorways with vines climbing up columns and trusses with grapes hanging heavy off them, and the commerce and enjoyment of this fine Theresian city bustles around you. And you make your way out through a large arched gateway with those same feather-helmed guards standing at the entranceway there, and everyone again, as you're going along the way, everyone's just greeting Aklis here and there, and another of those guards, not the one that's on duty, just comes running from inside the town, sandals flapping frantically on the cobbles and stones. Aklis! Aklis! He's like, oh, sorry everybody, just a moment. Aklis! There is a Gorgon! It has risen in the farmsteads to the south! You must rescue the city as you always do! Please, Aklis! The city beseeches you! And he turns. Well, my call to heroics has come as well! So, all the best with you. There is the mountaintop, and you just turn, and there's just a jagged, stony mountain shot with small fig trees up to the midpoint, and then you thin out, and then there's coarse brush giving way to almost volcanic dark stone jutting up, and you see, unmistakably at the top, capped with a thundercloud, playing with lightning dancing around the peak of this tall mountain, a dark cave that is waiting to enter.
Well,
All the
here
best.
before us is dark, but I'm confident this will be a walk in the park.
And
What else got the feeling that he planned that so it doesn't have to come?
and what's everyone's passive perception? 15? It's okay, Courtney.
10.
sorry. Yeah. Everyone. I love how your I think it's one of your racial abilities that gives you like a +2 to dex saves, which puts it a nice 0.
Yes, right. No penalty now. Thankfully.
Ooh. But yes, those of you with the upper end of those passive perceptions do notice Aklis pass a small purse of coin to this person that came running up to them as they disappear back into the city. Right, and you are free to journey onwards towards the cave.
We have to get to that cave to fix all this stuff.
Don't like the sound of that Papa Dragon.
No.
I've heard that that's better than a papa dragon.
Oh.
Mamas are the ones you watch out for.
Makes sense.
Especially if they're young around. Oof. Be careful. Be careful.
I do, and he kind of turns towards are you a prophet of the gods?
Prophet that I be, and I deliver all my sins for free.
So good at rhyming.
It's a talent.
Must be a gift.
Was it like a rival poet that finished you off?
Well, what you don't know is that this was actually all pre-written before the show.
He's looking around, like waiting for like people to jump out so he can rank.
Susanna just has a little bevy of poets and orators behind them, feeding them pieces of paper, parchment.
Off-screen writers.
I pay them well, because if they didn't, my life would be hell.
Now, as this first part of the quest finishes and you embark into the wilds towards the foreboding mountaintop, I'm going to say that the blessings of this city, the wards and guards that have been infused into the walls and gates of the city, remove that curse as you pass through the archway. And any rhymes from this point on are your own enjoyment.
Now I can just rhyme in my free time.
Okay. There was 10 minutes left, but this is a shorter session than others. I don't have to do that for the entire session. Okay. So, you start to clamber up off as the dusty road starts to wind off along the valley. You climb up the broken rocks and through the stunted, gnarled olive trees of the hillside. And as you get towards the top there, how are you approaching this cave?
Actually, before I talk about that, I mean, does anyone want to drop another curse of rhyming on me? I'm kind of enjoying it. I wouldn't mind another $100 going to the charity. If someone's got 100 big ones just kind of rattling around, I think I can do this all night.
A hero of Theros indeed.
Times will be spoken about by him and others about his great adventures.
Okay.
The cave. Tell us about the cave.
Indeed. As you clamber up, there are wisps of cloud clinging. Hang on, I should stop the marketplace.
It's a very loud cave. It's very
Popular.
Very popular. Very popular hiking spot.
Trees are full of birds chattering, human voices.
It's like Mount Fuji the opening weekend. It's like there's more people than nature.
Absolutely. Okay, so yeah, as you are clambering up towards the mountaintop here, you...
Definitely playing like a very light, calming tune. But if you notice that he's not actually using his hands to play the instrument, it seems to be like attached with straps to like his arms. So and occasionally just blows into the pipe, and then just like as he's moving his arms around, it seems to like be playing a really soft melody.
I
Excellent.
feel like that's cheating.
I mean, as a bard, trying to wield a two-handed instrument in combat seems very difficult. So
Fair. Okay, so yes, you clamber up higher and higher as the wind tears across this bleak, cloud-topped mountainside, and the little bowl in front of the cave entrance, looming dark above you, approaches. There seems to be a figure in a cowled robe, standing at the lip of the entrance to this mountain valley here, with the cave at the back. As you approach,
better contact. Should we say hello?
there's a whoosh and an explosion as he fires out a fireball that explodes off the nearby mountainside. He turns and fires off more magic. It explodes on the side over there. Rocks go flying. And he turns to all of you with a long, scraggly beard. Who are you, adventurers, that come here to the entrance to hell? So I can
The
resist.
dead.
I can resist, I'm sorry. The dead! Will the dead be enough to save you against the foul beast that guards the entrance to this lair? And sets up another fireball.
What else can it do? It's already dead.
We get in automatically if you fail.
And he gestures. Behold! The foul Papa Dragon has emerged, sensing new prey close at hand. And as you gently go up to the edge of the rocky precipice and look down towards the cave entrance, with a little hop and a skip, there's a flash of white fur and a three-headed rabbit bounds into view. Behold the Papa Dragon, Chimera of the Cave of Hell.
That's not that bad.
No.
We can take it, right?
I think I've heard this tale before, though. And you just see him like scrabble through his pack, and he just pulls out this glowing gold orb.
Gracious, have you come prepped with holy hand grenades?
It's called a radiance bomb, but I like that name better.
That was his randomly generated magical item.
Amazing.
So on point.
As soon as I was like, wait, I know exactly what to do. And I just like take the little, like, put in the little socket thing, push the little button in, and just. Then like there's like a 3 seconds later, it's like, wait, I think we're supposed to duck.
1, 2, 4. No, 3.
Wait, that doesn't rhyme. Oh!
Oh, what? Yeah.
Okay, enough of. And it stops being one-shot roulette and random if it just becomes the plot of the Holy Grail. You toss the grenade and it goes clink, 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 and a massive explosion goes off. And you see a single white-furred head. Bump, 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 bump. And as you knocked off one of the Chimera's heads, it comes bounding forward. Run! Run for the safety of the city! You have angered the beast! And he starts, the old guy in the robes just starts legging it towards the city that you just left. And he's like,
No one who I assume is called Tim, we shall not run.
How did you know my name?
We shall stand as one united against this critter. This little varmint won't prove any sort of trouble to us.
Okay, and as the creature starts skipping across the rocks towards you, I would like each of you to tell me what you prepare as the foul beast comes, galumphing and bouncing and bounding over the rocks towards you. So, quick moment here. There is a wound on one side, but there are 2 more heads, vicious pointy teeth bared and charging straight towards you as it comes bounding over the rocks. So, let's go the other way around the overlay from before. Jansaren, what are you trying to do?
Oh my lord, what am I trying to do? Is it an egg?
Technically, yes.
Great. Can I cast Speak with Animals on it?
Indeed.
Great. I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals. I don't know how intelligent it is. But it also says you might be able to persuade the beast to perform a small favor for you at the GM's discretion. So,
Hopefully the intelligence of each head combined will make it good enough.
yeah. Who's also inclined to listen to me at this point?
Okay, so yeah, it comes bounding towards you. What do you say when you cast
Oh, mighty beast! How long is long to bask in your greatness? Now, concentrate even more to 2 instead of 3.
The rest of you see the beast start to angrily chitter with its 2 remaining heads, and answering in your mind, you hear a voice. I can't believe you did that. I needed that. I used all of those 3 heads all the time. It just comes bounding towards you. Asagash, what are you doing?
Like seeing the anger in its face, I just start like beating my hoofs on the ground. And just see him getting angrier and angrier, but the beat mixed in with the music sounds like this music that's playing, this almost like heavy metal music, as he starts to kind of get ready to charge it as soon as it comes in, to smack it on the head to get it away from us.
Okay, awesome. Noted. And Courtney, how about you?
Courtney's gonna scramble for the head that has been blown off.
Okay.
You know, maybe we can use this first for a bargaining chip. I mean,
It's like a gorgon. If you don't look at it, it looks at its own head.
right? But like, maybe it wants it back. I can cast mending, so.
Hey! Yes, the Forge Cleric strides forth, making the most
Like,
wise
what?
action.
We can rebuild it.
We have the technology. No, but heaven forbid you if the beast goes into slow motion, you're like. Sazana, what are you doing? As I crank up Asagash's music here.
With no intention of doing anything except for utmost violence, am gonna look towards this abominable and yet somehow still somewhat adorable varmint. And I am going to shoot a chaos bolt
Fantastic.
in Umberlee's name.
Okay. Now, are you shooting this using your sorceress abilities or your devotion to Umberlee?
Now, the thing here is, my sorceress abilities do spring forth from that devotion to Umberlee. I am a divine soul sorcerer.
Indeed. So, I have some good news. If I were you, I would channel this magic through your trident, because as the beast comes closer and comes into view from round a volcanic boulder, you see the two remaining heads are that of a very angry dog, the one that you heard barking from so far in the distance before, and on its side, the last remaining head is that of an enraged halibut.
Well, see, now that changes things somewhat. Because I think I am going to lift up my Trident of Fish command and cast Dominate Beast upon this aquatic critter and say, "You nasty little sharp-toothed fish, how about you make things easy for us and go find a nice lake to jump into?"
Fantastic.
I'd like that little guy to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Indeed. Okay, so I am using
I remember the voice earlier. I don't think it's the wisest.
It's wiser than it is intelligent. I'll give it that.
Is it wiser? Courtney?
The shade from the shade. Okay, let us get my nice metallic Emma art. Is Emma City art dice here? Okay, sorry, good artist on our channel here. Okay, so boom. That is gonna be a 9. Okay, so that happens at the same time. Okay, Courtney, can you give me a persuasion check as you come forth with this forged cleric abilities and this head, this poor bunny head nestled in your palm?
Oh, yes. Okay. I got a 14.
A 14. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Excellent. And so, Asagash, you are prepared to repel borders, defend your new deceased friends, and it's like, do they need defending? I'm not sure. But as you,
They seem all way more competent than I am.
well, so just the pre-killed. So I mean, do you have anything to say? What is there left to defend? I'm not sure. The quest must go on. The quest must go on. And you defend yourself, ready there. And as you protect your fellows, Courtney just breezes past you and reaches towards the beast that is hopping. And Courtney, how do you persuade this creature that you have the ability to reattach this blown off part of it?
I will, clear my very phlegmy throat. I'm always sick. Did you need this? Because I can magically reattach it for you if you just hold still and stop trying to bite us.
Okay. Can you give me?
Is there in here?
Give me
It's probably
a.
not true.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
And like she knows this isn't exactly accurate to what her abilities are, but she's just going for it.
Absolutely.
I got a 6.
Okay. As the creature screeches to a halt, the pebbles kind of tumbling away. He looks up at you. His little puppy eyes, and halibut eyes, well with tears as they see the bunny head in your palm. And answering, with your connection still forged, you hear in your mind. It's like they always say. Two heads are better than... I forget, was it 1 or 3? I can't remember. Yes.
1.
Yes, fellow furry friend. If you were to do us the honor of reattaching said part, we might continue our guarding duties of this fabled cave.
Yes, but you will have to close all of your eyes for me to do this. And she's like, "Grr, grr," to everybody else. You will have to, but the magic only works if you close your eyes.
I'm not sure if a 6 will persuade that far.
No, we're trying it anyway. Stick around, because persuaded us.
And
If I'm kind of dominated, I'm going to say, I'll listen to the nice one. Just go ahead and close your eyes.
well, actually, Susanna, this is when you step around with your trident, because you see this creature realize, using its mythical abilities, that Courtney is preparing a mending spell, which is used for physical objects and pottery and the likes. And
First tried it on a person.
as their eyes starts to close, Courtney, but you realize they are narrowing angrily, and they start stealthily moving across the ground towards you, enraged that you would even suggest such a thing. But Susanna, gracefully, in slow motion almost, is $1 million halfling, steps around, and with the trident of fish command. What do you say, Susanna? Is it the lake? Is it the lake line, right?
Hold on. I as James want to kind of consult with the group here for a minute, because I don't want to. If our plan is to kind of console this thing, I don't want to just tell it to sod off. What's what are we thinking of over here?
I mean, I would plan to see outside the cave and not get followed by it.
Yeah, I don't think it's buying my story.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
I mean, Courtney believes it is, but me, Kelsey, I'm skeptical. Yeah, like,
You're convinced that it's convinced.
yes.
Indeed.
Right, so we're feeling we want to get this thing kind of out of line of sight, get it as far away from us as possible, so we can go splunking here. Okay.
That's the plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Then, with all the power vested in me as the cleric of Umberley, I say that thing I said earlier, because I don't really exactly.
Yes. And the energy, surges through, and you see the halibut head of this chimeric beast suddenly go wide-eyed and turns. You know what? I've been a fish out of water far too long. The halfling has it right. And as the little angry chihuahua head's like, no, we got to avenge. We got to avenge our buddy friend. And the other's like, no, look, you can see the ocean's right there. It's glistening, calling to us. And this creature, fighting itself, starts to make its way as the power of Umberley calls to the halibut in all of us in some way, and it starts to make its way down the mountainside, leaving the opening into the cave, the opening to the underworld and the domain of the god of death, open for you to proceed.
Courtney takes a head and is like, yeah, and throws it. Gross.
Excellent.
Oh, why did I hold this?
Okay. So, you stride your first heroic challenge overcome towards wondering what Tim was so afraid of. Almost made you soil your armor. And you...
Like, he's going down back to the city towards the sea. It's going to become running after him now. He has no idea that it's not actually coming for him.
It's like, what did I do? Where's it coming from? And... Also, notice, I always insist on making accents regional. That's completely out the window, apparently.
Theros doesn't deal with that, it's fine.
Theros is just every UK accent. Apparently.
That's what Hollywood does.
By the way, I'm looking for that beast to throw at you there from Pepper Dragon. I discovered it was Theron. Theron is the adjective.
Theron.
It was a Theron city that just running towards. As that was a Theron chimera. Of a fluffy variety. Okay.
A cute one.
Thank you, Papa Dragon, for that. Awesome stuff. Okay, now, as you approach into the dark, cavernous opening, the light of day seems almost sucked out of the air around you, and you make your way into a rocky, jagged-walled cavern that seems to almost breathe. There's a gust of air that comes up from below on occasion, almost like an exhalation. And you can feel the rhythm of life being channeled through towards the god of death as the souls make their last journey down into the underworld. As you... Does everyone do we have dark vision? How are we doing?
I do.
I think I do. Let me look.
Doesn't look like it.
Do you see one of those things where you
I
just like a
do.
string and everyone holds onto the string? Like in
Yes.
kindergarten.
Yeah.
Find out that one
It's
of
like-
us has been holding onto a vine and we're going the wrong way.
It's like one of the there's one of the pictures in Out of the Abyss where you've joined up with all these heroes from the surface, and it looks like they're all standing behind you, all holding onto like a rope. It's like, follow me, everyone, this way. The little Underdark guide service guy, like flag at the front.
How many of us actually do have dark vision? Because I'm a halfling and I sure don't.
I
I
don't.
think I might be the only one.
Oh.
Well,
I
that's a
actually
rarity.
do. I was
Two.
wrong, but I
That's great.
could
All right,
help
half and
us
half.
with
How good are your
Magics.
eyesight though?
Yeah, did the right spells get randomly rolled? Because those were random too.
Oh, yeah.
I have light. I have light. I was like, oh, you can't
Yep.
see? Boom! I got some light for you.
Oh yeah, you don't need an ability check to do that.
Okay. So,
Thankfully.
yeah, that one's okay. That one's okay. And what do you cast it on?
Well, that is a great question. Do you want it on your trident since you need to see and you have a trident? And my hands are empty.
All right,
Two little
Yeah.
points of light on the end.
may as well. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Woo.
Just to say
Alright.
that sounded suspicious. My hands are empty. I promise. I haven't stolen anything.
I'm used to saying
I
that.
haven't stolen
Sometimes it's
anything.
true. Mostly it's not true, but sometimes it is.
Well,
There you
thank
go.
kindly.
Boop. And a little glow for a little umberly. It looks
Awesome.
nice.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, as the trident
The
starts to
cruel
glow.
goddess of the angry sea will smile upon you in the future for that one, my child.
Is me.
The voice on the edge of your consciousness. I wouldn't count on it. Okay, and yes, you start to descend into the depths. Now, let me find something here. As you start down the rocky tunnel, descending like into the throat of some great beast, you start to see dim illumination. Not so much that, Susanna, you're still thankful of the light, but there is some sort of dim illumination rising up, emanating up from the depths below as you start down this tunnel. how are you proceeding as you venture into the depths?
I'm taking a back seat on this one, kind of keeping the light above everyone from behind. Someone else's choice to make.
I like that you're going to have to hold the bottom of the trident to do that then.
Nice. Yeah. Looks glorious. Who's good at getting hit with stuff? Because I'm not.
Probably me. I think I probably have the best stats of anybody.
We just brought one competent adventure. That's very kind of them.
Do we want me to
Relying on you.
I am also not too bad for getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay, so
See as well, so I'll let you take point.
yes, you start to make your way in that order down the tunnel, and as you do so, this slight bioluminescence of the walls of the tunnel is reflected in softly lapping water ahead of you. And you see further down in the depths lanterns on the edge of a languidly flowing river. You'd almost mistake it for a lake or a still body of water, but it's moving so sluggishly. But as you approach, you see these lanterns lead along the banks of this river, and there seems to be some sort of small landing area. There's like a carved area of rock with more of these lanterns on the corners, and a tall, dark-robed humanoid figure holding a large staff topped with the symbol of the Theron goddess of death stands silent. And if I can pop back to the browser window, I can show you. Looks like this, but that's very zoomed in. How do we do this? Hang on. I think actually this is going to be better if I just pop this on screen instead.
Not at all.
Sorry, it was zoomed in because of the chaos generator thing from before. Yeah, let me pop it. Just pop it on the stream straight up. Here we go. It's going to be off center there a bit. Here we are. These figures await you. And as we can see in the picture there, the figure standing silently on the edge of this sluggish river looks out beyond, and with a slight rippling and movement of the waters, another lantern starts to emerge from the darkness beyond and make its way towards the side that you are approaching. You see that it is a tall, proud, but small in size boat that is being poled across this river by one more of these figures.
What kind of vibe do you get from the water?
From the water?
Friendly vibe.
Like,
You're not
I'm
impressed.
serious, you know, she's not the smartest, I think, probably, but she'd just probably like be inclined to walk straight into the water and cross the way. I'm not sure if that's
Swim over to the boat.
Yeah. Umberlee's boats are bigger.
Yeah. What is Umberly telling you about the water?
Oh, she's telling me it ain't nearly salty enough. This is fresh water and ain't her
can hear that.
kind.
Indeed. Okay. Courtney, I want you to have a little think about something as you approach this figure. As a anonymous donor has generously gifted you an uncommon magical item.
Oh.
Thank you, donor. Thank you. An uncommon item. Is it random or do I get to determine what it is?
You may choose, I believe.
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna have to look.
Look.
But I will. What do I find in my pockets?
Yes,
What have you
indeed.
stolen off that adventurer that brought us here?
Well, no, come on.
Exactly.
We can't skip. We can't. I was gonna say we can't skip the opportunity to play dice with death here. Come on, the gambler in you. So as you approach, the boat approaching across the river bumps gently against the stony shore, and the figure with their long pole, about 10 foot, you'd say, stands with it ready to accept their next passengers. And the one on the dock side slowly turns, with almost the entirety of their face hidden beneath the cowl, just gaunt skin drawn tight over bones, lips pulled back to reveal jagged, almost like off-skew tombstone teeth, turns towards you. Who approaches the river?
Well, my name's Susanna.
Oh, so gosh.
Answered.
You have traveled far.
All the way from the village.
But before that, from beyond the veil. Did you come here in one of those fancy new spell jammers? No, sorry. Sorry. Your souls were destined for other places. Why are you here?
Honey, you don't have to tell me twice that my soul was destined for the sweet embrace of Umberley. I would much rather be against that goddess's welcoming bosom than at this goddamn dank river.
I would also like to note, every time I do a heart gesture, it is the donor, not the figure of death that you guys.
I mean, I also like the idea he's just
That's
like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm for death to serve love too.
yeah.
Okay. You the figure who seems to be impartial and not on the side of the god of death that has stolen your souls away and thrown everything into such disarray, turns. If you can best me and answer these. No, I shouldn't do it again. I was gonna go. I almost went riddles 3, but not. What is your favorite? No. we've played that one out. Sorry. He turns. He's like, if you can best me, you shall gain passage on our ferry. If, however, you fail, you shall be cast back out of this place and into limbo for all eternity. You shall never meet your Umberley. You shall never see the heavens or hells that await you.
Well, the risk of that just seems too great. Fancy meeting you. See you later. And I just turn around.
That feels pretty fair.
So, yeah, we got some more shenanigans going on here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we have a spin of the wheel. This is our first one.
Oh no,
And
here we
Why
go.
spin the wheel?
Courtney, it's coming at you again.
Oh no.
popular target, I'm afraid.
I'm still trying to figure out how to find uncommon items on D&D Beyond.
If you go to the magic items, you can filter by rarity, I believe.
Yes, I have to keep looking.
Okay, so here we go, folks. First spin of the wheel. Courtney, as the mists drift across the river, they start to swirl angrily and consume your body. She goes out of view. Sorry, assumed a she there. Excuse me. Their form is concealed briefly as these mists roil up around them, spinning around, and as they do so. Click, 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 click.
The Wheel of Fortune roll. The death god just suddenly pulls out a little wheel.
Courtney, the result that popped up on the wheel there, I managed to see it. Whoops! All charisma.
My one other not terrible stat. Yes.
Benefit.
For this encounter, the remainder of this encounter, your charisma is 20.
Yes.
Your herd is closed.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that landed on the one with the worst stats. The person that needed whoops something.
The water push over the and your fur is glistening fur.
It's just
they go up,
the humidity down here is just making my hair look so good. It's so nice.
Fantastic. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you, Cos. Everyone, join us if you would like to see Cos Daisy and Cos later on in this continuing super stream. You can join us for Candlekeep Mysteries first thing in the morning or later today, depending where you are in the world. Right, so as the mists recede, a very confident-looking Vulpin raises an eyebrow. Well, hello. So, yes, please, Courtney, as you will. That wasn't the only one, there was something else as well. Mr. Haeck, at your request, we have another curse of rhymes placed upon you. Thank you so much, whoever that was. And it was an anonymous donor. Thank you so much for your
I
generosity.
can't even say I'm mad. Far be it from that. In fact, I'm glad.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, whoever that was. Hey, Mac, how you doing? Okay, so, yes, Courtney, that has happened. And as the figure turns, they extend an emaciated, bony hand, and in its palm are 2 bone dice. Who can best me? You have the stench of fated ones about you. Let us see where your fate leads. And sorry for James and Kelsey here. In our universe, in the shared Wahiverse, fated ones are all the adventurers. You are fated to be in the right place at the right time, but the decision is always yours. Okay, so.
Really, we're stinky.
So, Courtney, there are dice.
Yes. I mean, I gotta throw the dice. I have to. I'm gonna.
Okay, so as you step forward, the figure waves its arm and the cloak moves across, and dark smoke tendrils come off the ragged edges of it and form into an ebony table with black felt surface on the top, the most beautiful gambling table you have ever seen. And as it looks upon you, let us play a game. I shall roll 1 die, and you the other. Then, yours being beneath this cup, and a small porcelain, battered-looking, almost looks like it was being used in some like grave site for offerings or something, cup appears. You must convince me whether your role, hidden though it may be, is higher or lower than mine. And he pushes. The chimera returns. Run!
Run away!
It's the chihuahua. Okay, no.
This for effect.
So you receive this bone dice. You see, it is an interesting dice, 20-sided. Very rare in normal games of chance that you think of. Maybe not so rare in your everyday life, but and you place it under the cup and rattle it back and forth. If I took the time, the wonderful folks at Sirenscape, folks, do head on over there. They're not sponsoring the charity stream, but wonderful, wonderful sounds and sound effects for your games. There will be a dice sound effect somewhere, but so I don't want to break the stream here and go searching for it. You shake the cup back and forth as it rattles around inside, and you glance underneath. Roll me a d20 and keep it secret for a moment.
All right.
Okay. And the veiled figure in front of you does the same, but in the open, and rolls a 12. Now, you have to try and convince them. Is your role higher or below in the underworld? Heaven or hell?
And if I convince you, I win?
If you convince them that it is one way or the other, but it in fact turns out to be the opposite, then you are the winner. If you are able to deceive them.
To choose wrongly.
Yes.
Well, it would be mathematically more likely to be lower, so if I was smart, and I'm not, I would tell you it was.
Okay, well, I would like you, with your all charisma abilities, to make a persuasion check on this figure. So, that +5, right?
Yes. Let's throw some bonus on there. So, okay, here we go.
You get an extra 4 to that.
I got a 9.
On the dice? Or a 4 on the dice?
On my check, I got
4 on the dice.
4 on the dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Well, yeah. Totally
And then,
fine.
and there was a +4 as well from somewhere. Sorry, a D4.
No, it was like already had the +1, so then an extra +4 to make the +5.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, as you confidently look
I'm like,
at this creature and find a glint in your eye, as you say, higher or lower? Heaven or hell?
so I'm trying to convince
Them.
I'm being
You're gonna-
honest, use the GM right now.
Yeah. So you are trying to convince them that it's not what it is. So if it's higher, you're trying to convince
Yes.
them it's lower. If it's lower, you're trying to convince them it's higher. And by saying it's heaven or hell, in the wrong direction, and then you're going to fail. So
I failed. I was trying to convince him hell, and you know what? I
Okay.
was wrong.
Okay. So I kind of does this play out like with that amazing charisma? Like you're so confident, but your intelligence, because the intelligence is
It's
no,
just
oh, the
all impeding me.
wisdom is the wrong one, isn't it? Sorry, yeah, the wisdom's so bad that you got the rules wrong. You're like, oh, I know how to play this.
I'm just really confident in
Thank
the
you,
wrong
Grimson.
information. Like,
Yeah. And you very confidently look them in the eye, dripping charisma, and look at them. Now, do you? I know Vulpin have a certain amount of wily abilities. Would any of these come into play here? If you go to features and traits and look at the racial things there.
I have sneaky pack. Ooh, wow. Bewitching guile. I mean, I do have charm person.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? It's only a god death.
Wait.
I know.
Oh, this is merely the boatman. You're okay.
And also I can cast silent image at will, so I might be able to actually cast my an image over the die
Yes.
to make it not what
Yes.
it is, which is what I would do. So yeah.
Excellent.
Fantastic. Okay, so as you cast that image before revealing the cup there, is there a check involved, like an insight check or a perception check?
It is. I think that a creature that uses its action to examine the image can determine that it's an illusion with a successful investigation check.
Okay.
Or by touching it.
So
Like a dice image over a dice.
Right, like over it.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you reach down and cast the magic as you remove the cup. Okay. And as you reveal, you said it was hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And as you reveal the dice, it so you convinced them, but it's actually higher, right? So it looks higher than 12. Yeah. So the creature looks at you. He's like, I believe you speak the truth. Hell. And you reveal the dice. And it says a number greater than 12.
13.
Just 13. Oh, just the one. And the mouth, just the only thing that's visible here, like the mouth beneath the cowl kind of tightens. pursed, thin lips. Even in death, you retain your wiles. It has been a great length of time since anyone bested me, who was not destined to travel this path. And they strike their staff against the ground, and an invisible barrier that was blocking off this entire side of the river shimmers as it dissipates and becomes visible in that action. And the waiting boat bobs slightly in the water as this magic dissipates. You may pass. And tell me, elf, it points at you, Incian, what is it you intend in the depths?
We intend to speak with the god of death. There's been some confusion, apparently. I would like to get a few things sorted out. None of us really want to be here. No offense to you.
What business have you with this world's god of death, halfling?
Hopefully short.
Oh, sorry, I went to just another time.
Hey, listen. What she just pulled there was glorious, but what we're all trying to do is pull an Orpheus.
Very well. Any last words, dear?
That's awfully familiar.
Very familiar. Yeah.
go.
Noted. And he gestures with a skeletal hand towards the boat, which rocks gently as you step in. Courtney, you're last to step onto the boat, and the figure placed a bony-fingered hand on your elbow. It has been so long since I was bested. May you right the balance and send your souls down the correct river. And passes you
a bag of tricks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good choice. Okay, you may choose the color, depending on your favorite animals that lie within.
Right. I think that the one that has a lot of vermin in it, the gray one,
Okay.
speaks to me.
I love it.
That's it. Okay, so yes, your grey bag of tricks. But all the animals around the decoration on the outside are all skeletal.
Nice.
Passes it towards you. Use it wisely.
Unfortunately, that will be very difficult for me. But yes.
They know.
I'll run it through the team before I really do anything.
And you step into the vessel as well, and with a faint splash, the 10-foot pole propels you across the river and onwards, beyond the invisible barrier on your journey. On the far side, you jump out onto the similar rocky surface, and before you there lies another tunnel descending deeper, and the boat, its pilot silently pushing away, drifts off through the mists, much like in the picture, and disappears from view. Hide and disappear from view. You, with the Umberly trident of Fish Command glowing brightly. We've got that nice kind of like subaquatic kind of like, you know, like sunlight through the water. Kind of dappled light here plays off the rock surfaces around you as you continue walking forward.
The things I like to make are beautiful, and my commitment to the aesthetic is dutiful.
And you continue into the depths. As you descend deeper, the rocky passage suddenly opens out into an impossibly large cavern, seemingly taller than the mountain itself had been on the exterior. You can't have gone that deep this quickly. And again, dark waters, this time of a lake, mirror the bioluminescent and the light of Umberly's trident rippling silently ahead of you. And across the water, on an island, stands a vast, dark fortress, foreboding, reaching up towards the cavern's ceiling like so many stalagmites, clawing towards the surface, beckoning the souls of the dead on their last journey. And you see, again, the way forward is across this water, although it seems to be your own propulsion this time. There is no ferryman here. The last journey is solely yours. And you make your way down to the water's edge. And I shall pop that on screen here. As the fortress
of the god of death looms ahead of you. Who would like to propel the boat?
Probably
Yeah,
the best
sure.
person to do that.
Who's strong? Not it.
I'll
Well,
give it a go. Yeah, I'll give it a go.
roughly speaking, perhaps I got a swimming speed as well.
I don't think I want to
Okay.
touch that water, but yeah.
Well, if worst comes to worst.
I leave this job to folks who are strong. Me and strength just don't get along.
Well said. Well said.
+5 to athletics. That's what we need to use for it.
That's good. Yeah, that's definitely, I think, Yansaran.
Hwah!
The familiarity with watery watery ways does do that, and takes up their position at the head of the small boat and propels it across the waves towards the fortress. And as you do so, there is a and ethereal, ghostly shapes dart through the water. Sorry, I completely wrecked my own throat doing that.
DM's curse.
And there's these strange glows, malevolent in their kind of auras. They just kind of dart through the water, crossing up beneath the boat, and dashing around either side, swirling and traveling in from across the lake in different reaches of the dark pool here towards this gathering of lost souls. What would you like to do?
Are we feeling any kind of pull as well? Out of curiosity?
These seem to be some sort of guardian spirits. And they seem to be reacting to your presence, being out of place, not of this world. And they do start to move, swirling in the waters beneath the boat, around it, more and more aggressively and faster.
I will try and pull faster, I guess.
Okay, make me an athletics check.
Yes, I will. That's going to be an 8. rolled a
Try
3.
as you might.
I'm sorry, team.
Try as you might, you cannot. It seems like the very waters of the pool are clinging on to the boat, trying to stop it from taking these lost souls where they weren't supposed to journey. Susanna, is there anything?
I'm just gonna stay ready for whatever comes at us.
Okay. Courtney, you see these creatures and you clasp your new magical item, hoping that it can in some way protect you at the dangers that lurk here in this underworld. And as you clasp it to you, the little skeletal figures starts to move around the rim of the bag of tricks, and you feel a stab of pain through your fingers, up your arms, into your chest, and you realize this is a cursed item.
Yes.
You cheated.
Not the same.
You cheated.
Not the same person. Someone gave you the item, someone else gave you the curse.
I've been cursed.
You have. But not with rhymes, as poor Susanna has. You feel the urge. The urge to sing the hymns of your forged god, of your forged cleric. And any uttered responses, out of character is fine, but any in-character uttered responses will have a distinct musical lilt to them, if you would.
Curse you!
Thank you, Doc.
I'm gonna get you later for this, dog.
They're waving in chat. They're just like waves. Hello. Thank you, Doc. Sorry, I didn't see that for a second there. So you escaped a little bit there, Courtney. I didn't see it for a while.
Oh no.
Okay. So, as you are trying to make your way across here, Asagash, these undead forms are swirling and moving beneath the waters.
I'm going to... If it feels like they're coming close as if they're about to grab onto our boat, I'm going to try and cast a silent image
Okay.
of like almost the boat as we're moving off to one side, as if it's going to the other one, to try and confuse or kind of pull off as many as possible and try and get them away from us.
Okay. So, you cast that spell. Give me a Arcana check.
Arcana check.
Is that what's your caster stat?
Technically, it's is it like, are they rolling a save against it, or
No, it'd be an ability check on your end.
then it's +3?
Okay.
Kinda, funnily enough, would have been better.
These builds come up with some interesting things.
Ooh. Going with the theme of the night, that is an 8.
Have we had anything over a 10? My 12?
Yeah, no, I think that the 12 and the 13 for the
13,
dice
if
game
it was lower.
were the only roll of a 10.
Okay. You try and cast this image, but the foul presence, the stench of death and decay that emanates from the very rocks of this place distracts you, and the image flickers and is insubstantial, and the creatures do not seem to be fooled as they gather more, twirling and glistening beneath the waters. Yansarin, I will say one thing. Strictly speaking, they do have a swim speed.
Are they beasts? I thought I wasn't sure that they're beasts, if they're, lost souls. Would you let me talk to them as in my position as friend of the sea?
As someone that our friend Mr. Haeck talks to on occasion likes to say, you can certainly try.
Well, I will try and talk to these guardian souls. I guess I can, using gestures and sounds, communicate simple ideas. Okay.
You're also an anthropologist, so you have been amongst the people for a while, observing their ways. You're sitting silently in the boat as Courtney strangely starts singing about something.
I moved by her devotion to her duty, and
I hear the singing and I just start playing my instrument to go along with it.
Yeah.
Just trying to cheer us up. Like, I think that's what you're trying to do. You feel really bad that we're all panicking and you're trying to cheer us up.
I feel inspired by the beautiful music that's happening around me, and I'll sort of lean over the edge and be like, not.
No. To these guardian spirits.
Is this not helping?
Yes. Okay, so do you just plunge your face into the water and
Yes, I will. I'll plug my face into the water and be like please. We're trying to get by here.
You're not helping.
With your boss.
If you could give us a push, that would be great.
Yeah, you can go behind and boost this possible. Stop bothering you.
We'll get out of your way as quickly as we can.
I'd love not to be bothering you anymore.
Okay. Give me that's what I was looking for. Okay, give me a again, I think we have to go persuasion on this, won't we?
I say at least Courtney's singing will be very good, being with that extra +5 with the charisma.
At the moment, yes. Oops, all charisma, but good at singing.
Residual charisma. I don't know.
I rolled a 6.
High charisma, low wisdom. That was pretty much every karaoke night we had here in Japan, right?
6.
Oh wow. Okay, continuing the trend.
We're not we may be destined, but we're not destined to complete this quest.
Destined for a tragedy.
So yes, Ansaren, you try to commune with these creatures, but they are so utterly alien and different from anything from your oceans, or anything from your watery locales, that you cannot communicate with them, and you pull back quickly as they surge angrily towards the boat, and it rocks it quite viciously. Can you give me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Yes. 30-20.
Hey, there it is.
Finally, a good roll.
You managed to keep your feet and are not tumbled out of the boat as it rocks violently as the creatures move dangerously beneath. Okay. Anything else as you're trying to fend off these creatures?
I mean, at this point, I'll probably start poking them away with the pole.
I'll get using my quarterstaff to try to push them away.
Yeah, I've got the trident out there too, just kind of.
Get away!
Well, as a magical weapon, definitely that would be helping. But yes, Asagash, unlike the property that we were mimicking before, I believe there's more than one holy hand grenade.
Is there?
Yeah, you've got like 8 of them.
I have 8 of them. What happened there?
It says they come in collections of like D4+4 or something, I think it was.
You have 8.
Oh, what? Courtney's
Gotta-
like, let the bodies hit the floor.
I'm like using my stick to push it, and like I knock my bag over, and they just kind of roll out. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, do we try it again? Like, it's like I do that thing where you put 2 in one on each hand, push the buttons, and throw them behind me. Nobody cool watches explosions. Just throw them behind me. Hoping
Turn
that
away, yeah.
that's close enough to the boat that it'll also just propel us forward.
There you go.
There you go. Nice. Okay, so yeah, as these grenades splash into there's a flash of light, and the like someone fishing with grenades. Sorry.
To upset one of the guardian spirits.
Yes. One of the like someone fishing with grenades. All of these guardian spirits just start bloop, 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 bloop up onto the surface, and the bow wave pushes you forward, even with Incian's unfortunate athletics, and you are surging forward and boom against the stones and rocks of the far shore. And
We all scramble to get out,
yeah.
pushing each other out the way.
And
We are the champions.
excellent. And before you stand the sheer walls and foreboding sight of this castle, this fortress of death.
Has anyone thought about how we're actually going to convince this to let us go?
I mean, Courtney's looking pretty good.
She's like, no, I haven't.
It's like I pull out the instrument. Oh, are we still doing this? Cool. Start playing this a clue. No idea there's a curse going on. Just that you've suddenly been blessed with inspiration.
Oh, this god
Yeah.
of the dead seems pretty greedy, but perhaps we can convince him to help the needy.
Yes. Well said. Well said.
Offer to the god of death that they would want.
I got bored of these bombs.
Yes. Radiant stuff, that's what they want.
That's exactly. Radiant bombs. I mean, it can help down here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I guess we just go ask.
I mean, that's generally the best.
Hello, sir.
Okay, the curse of rhymes has, if you wish, ended.
If you wish.
Well, all good things must come to an end.
For now, unless someone else makes another donation.
It's not. We've got a little bit of time left. You would get a decent amount of money's worth there. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, thank you everyone who has made the donations already. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, every one of those cursive rhymes is something like $100. I mean, that's $100 for the hungry kids right there, and
thank you so much.
50 for the cursive song, and for the magic item. I mean,
Amazing.
y'all are incredible.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. We are just less than $500 short of the goal for the whole week, and it's the first day. So,
Whoa.
don't worry.
They're pretty damn cool.
We will extend beyond, and we shall see just how far all of this generosity and wonderful people can go. Thank you so much, everyone. Last time it ended up with Warrior Streak with a shaved head. I wonder if that will happen again. Not sure. The price might have gone up from last year. Okay, so as you step up the rocky shore towards this foreboding fortress, you notice there is no gateway, no arch, no postern gate or anything. Just smooth obsidian walls rising up from this stony shore.
Hello. That didn't work.
No, no response.
Oh, grim and dour deity. Knock, knock, knock. All we want to do is parlay, my friend.
I thought you were gonna say all we want to do is talk.
all of the dark portals, the jagged windows into the interior from that are up above on the towers that glare down upon this blighted shore silently regard you, and there is no response.
Well, words may not have much of an effect unless we know anything about what make this god tick. Have I heard in any of my religious studies anything about this Theron god of death?
Okay. Please give me a religion check if you would be so kind.
You know, before starting this line of questioning, I didn't actually check what my religion skill is.
Oh no.
I would say
Maybe.
I'm at the mercy of the dice on this one.
I'm going to say with the commitment you have shown to Umberly and the good word has been spread far and wide, further and wide than it ever has before, your goddess shall grant you advantage on this.
Thanks.
Was that a bad roll?
And there's always your halfling luck.
We're sitting pretty at a 13, my friend.
There we go.
That was with the advantage?
That's an average, Frankie.
What are you talking about?
You don't want to know what the first roll was.
What are you talking about? For today, that's an amazing roll.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Lord.
Okay. You clasp your trident and think of all the teachings, of all the forbidden lore that you have found etched on subaquatic temple walls, found dusty scrolls in forgotten libraries. And there was once a workshop in a forgotten keep high on a sea cliff that your goddess guided you to. And this had once been the abode of a scholar of the plains, a traveller who had gone far and wide beyond the material plane, far beyond the Sword Coast, and had travelled to other parts of the multiverse. And they did have writings on the Theron gods. And they did have some knowledge about the major deities here. And in Theran religion, it seems that those who would seek audience with the gods themselves must pledge deeds, must pledge themselves to carry out glorious, heroic deeds that that particular god would be pleased by.
I relay this and editorialize, but I don't think that you're going to be able to get me to do any of that. I am committed to one goddess in particular, and it ain't this one.
But what do they share in common?
In multitask?
Yeah, not very religious answer.
I don't have any goddess. I'm good. I'm open to everything.
I mean, I've been convinced by the rhetoric. I am like, I am slowly being convinced that Umberly might be the way.
Now, if someone else has undertaken some sort of great labor, then I might be convinced to help, just as long as my name ain't scribbled on the receipt, if you follow my meaning.
Of course, of course.
Does the god of death want more death? Is that how this works?
I mean, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Well, it almost seems like the god of death don't want no more death, given that the people around here don't seem to be, packing up and dying like they should. Maybe the god of death just needs a big tub of ice cream and a sappy sitcom just to get his spirits back together.
Should we just invite them round for a few drinks, a movie night? Sorry, theater night?
Yeah. Bring your dice.
We'll play chance with the gods of death.
By the way, Courtney, can I just point out something little nice here? Angry Nerd Girl, hello, how you doing? Hope the three flings had a lovely time over there. Welcome in, Raiders. How you doing? We are doing a No Kid Hungry charity stream here with these wonderful people. Okay, welcome on in, and I hope that you had a lovely session with a guest of your own, I believe. Okay, so the Angry Nerd Girl, Jess, and everyone over there have also been through this one-shot roulette ordeal recently. Thanks for the raid. So, as you mentioned these things, throw out these ideas about what perhaps this god wants, there is a cracking of obsidian and a scrape as a secret door outlines itself jaggedly in the glassy wall in front of you, and scraping and sliding against itself slides to the side, and you see an entrance through the exterior wall into a vast hall beyond.
Seems sure.
Oh, well, that's what that was.
Looking for friends. But Susanna, you said you don't want your name on the friend receipt.
Listen, I ain't here. And I just sort of like melt into the shadows a little bit.
But still holding.
I kind of tap my trident,
The shadows
trying
are
to
going
turn the
with
light
you.
off. Yeah.
You're like,
Shit.
You need to get far away as you can. Like,
What was the last for? Is it like an hour or something?
I mean, I think it's one of those ones where you just keep going.
It's like forever.
Right?
You're like
And ever.
in the depths of it, the ship ready to attack someone, and just all they can see just this little light poking up, and you're holding your hand around it.
it's so hard to cover. a
Just
trident.
kind of,
It has
I'll
so many
stick it under my
layers.
armpit and do my best.
Fantastic. And as you hesitantly creep into the interior of this citadel. You see columns at regular intervals down the length of this long hall, and the obsidian steps that reach up from the far end rise to a dais with a tall obsidian throne. There's definitely an aesthetic here. And there is a hunched figure. Dark robes swathed around them, leaning heavily on an arm of the throne. Long, straggly hair concealing their features as they slump to one side.
As in, like, sleeping or, dead to
From
go
this-
along with the theme of things?
From this end of the hall, difficult to tell.
Okay.
Is looking dead part of being the king of death? I'm still under the curse of singing, right? It's all very on brand.
I haven't seen. I assume it's as long as the rhyming one.
They're interior decorators.
All right, okay.
That's legit. That's
I
legit.
keep going.
All right,
But
well, let's
Doc is actually very afraid for their safety.
Docs is gonna. I know where to find you on the internet, Docs.
What's up, Doc? Watch out.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible.
Oh, it just
No,
ended.
Docs
There,
a bell,
perfect.
Docs a bell.
Perfect
Ah,
timing.
it
Perfect timing. There we go.
You've been freed.
Oh,
Let's
like
be
this
like,
one.
oh.
Oh, wait. Yes, and the 20 charisma is also gone.
Really bad now. It gets real bad right
They were
now.
linked.
Like, I hope that the charisma ended before the singing, so the singing just got worse and worse as we got on.
Yes. Yes.
The one came before the other, so it makes sense.
We're
Okay.
all so happy that the singing's ended by this point.
Glad that we're off.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you.
oh my god.
Thank you for your donations, everybody.
Yes.
Now, so as you step into the interior of the hall, you hear your footsteps echoing
Yes.
on the stony surface beneath you, reflecting what dim light there is from Susanna's hidden trident. unless you dispelled it. Did you turn it off, Connie?
We could. Should we? Should we turn it off? I can always bring it back. So
And it is kind of pretty.
it is nice.
It does reflect off all the various surfaces in here quite nicely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell with it. And I'll just sort of raise it over my shoulder and keep low.
A nice glow behind us. It makes, like, from their point of view, we look glorious. Here I've got this brilliant backing lighting as we walk up. It's
Sparkling around you as you move forward. Celestial beings from beyond the plains. You slowly make your way down the hall. You walk on down the hall, and as you approach, a dry, cracked voice emanates from beneath the bedraggled hair. I sense you have come far. Departed souls, drawn to this place by my hunger.
didn't bring any more food, sorry.
Oh, your very being is sustenance enough, as I can no longer channel the spirits of this place.
What do you mean you can't channel the spirits of this place? I mean, everyone can. Surely it would be you.
I have a rival here in the Theron Pantheon. It is a fickle place of shifting allegiances, bargains, and backstabbing. One who was once my ally turned on me, poisoned the very souls that I am to challenge and channel through to the underworld and beyond. They sicken me, and I shall not let them kill me with their poison. I shall not let them destroy and take my realm. You, unless you have some way to assist me and right this wrong, your spirits, the balance be damned, your spirits shall sustain me a little longer.
Well, hell, we better have something to do or else we're goners.
So we need to defeat the other death god, and then, or stop him, and then we can go, not home, but beyond.
Yansarin,
Mm-hmm.
you feel a knot twisting in your stomach. And a voice
Oh god, what?
cackles in your mind.
Maybe it's not all doom and gloom for you. Maybe I was supposed to be brought here.
Wait, I'm sorry? It's my stomach.
Do you or do you not
I do have
have the bezoar of the bespectacled
Yes.
owlbear in your gut?
It is in my gut at this point. I was not expecting it to speak to me.
No.
What?
The problem is,
I'm not to get it out right now.
to quote the part of Cobalt Press's Vault of Magic that I didn't put in the description on D&D Beyond, owlbears eat all manner of things. And the bezoars that grant you various benefits are also cursed from the various things that the owlbear consumed.
Great.
And
Okay.
this particular one causes you fear and whispers terrible things in your ear when you are in danger.
Oh no.
All of you. Feed me.
And she reaches a weakened hand up from the edge of the throne, and coming out of the shadows on either side, you see ethereal Theron warriors. Their armor not glistening in the sun anymore. Darkened, wispy figures moving towards you, their shields up and spears leveled at you. Yansarin, you think, if you can regurgitate that bezoar and get it to the goddess, it will make her immune to poison.
It will. It will, great. What do I roll to regurgitate?
I need
You're like
you.
sticking your fingers down your throat and stuff, like suddenly we're
How
all like,
much
we're about
grass
to
did you
die. and
eat
you're
earlier?
like,
Yeah.
Would that be like a survival check?
I will go with a constitution check if you have the constitution to do this.
Courtney's like, smell this and hold the
Anyone want
bag up
to
in front of your face.
Are you,
hold
are
the
you
hair?
okay?
Hold the hair.
Go, guys.
Are you okay?
If you need if anyone wants to try their luck and donate for a spin of the wheel, we could get Oops All Constitution. It's potentially in there. It is potentially in there.
Are you okay? What are you doing?
She's got like got her fingers in her mouth. I guess it's trying to just like.
And
Trying to hairball it up.
Susanna, Courtney, Asingash, what are you doing as these foul spirits approach you?
And apparently, as I'm barking.
I am going to stab my feet into and start like raging and playing my music in order to give Esseran bardic inspiration on her spew check.
Inspired.
You can rally.
Okay.
Spew.
Susanna, what are you doing?
I'm gonna keep these freak shows off of my friends for as long as possible. Here comes a chaos bolt.
Yay! Fantastic. Okay, Courtney, what are you doing?
I am going to oh my gosh. I will cast protection from good and evil on the not myself, but the puking.
On Yanseren. Okay.
Yes. So that you don't, perish before you
Thank you.
regurgitate your Bazar. Yeah.
Noted. Okay, so yes, as they these shadowy figures come towards you, you cast your magic on Yanseren. Susanna, is there a role involved with that chaos bolt?
Yes. And there's this is a target-rich environment, right? There are these nasty boys all over the place. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You would imagine, actually, I think, with your sorceress knowledge of these things, and a kind of natural feel for things, as all sorcerers have, if you could get it just right, it would ricochet very nicely off all of these obsidian columns and surfaces, and creates quite a kill zone.
All right. Let's try. Let's try that.
Okay, so roll me. Is charisma, right, for a sorcerer?
For like a spellcasting ability check.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be charisma. Let's get that rolling. Charisma. Ha! That's a 10.
Okay. Yeah. So is right down the middle there. So you fire off this chaos bolt, and it zips and zooms around, ricocheting off the various columns this way and that. And what does it look like as it ricochets around the space here?
As it ricochets around the space, the type of damage it deals is psychic damage.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
And so it's a psychic bolt. I'm not even sure if it really looks like anything. You can't see the bolt, but as it ricochets, you can see sort of like a burst of like invisible waves, like heat waves, rolling through the air as it hits the columns, and just these sort of heat waves emanate from each thing it strikes as it continues on this madcap path.
Fantastic. Okay, yeah, and as it passes through each of these vengeful spirits converging on you, they kind of collapse to their knees, clutching at their minds, what remnants there of their psyche being ravaged by this sorceress magic, reflected, almost amplified by these obsidian reflections here. Courtney, how does it look when you cast your magic on Iansaran?
So first I scream in fear, and then like, do the right thing. So I cast it on you, and then run behind you. But you're like covered in sort of like a weirdly radiant aura that's like purpley, because I have a lot of internal conflict about who I actually worship, so it doesn't really manifest too clearly. So that's what happens.
Courtney, I think as you do that, the voice of your patron this from beyond the realms whispers to you, "Fear not. You are destined to be in this place. You and Susanna together, worshipping me in different guises. Take the waters from without, channel my power, and right the balance of this place." And there is a whooshing sound and a tidal wave of dark waters with a few guardian spirits still bobbing along on the surface comes gushing through the doorway of the obsidian hall, through that tunnel that opened up in the exterior wall, washing down the hallway here, sweeping away one or two of these ethereal guards, and coalescing around Yansuran's form, and rising up, swirling around her, invigorating her, and protecting her from those that would interrupt this process.
Yeah.
Asagash,
Process.
Oh my god.
sing your song.
I know. It kind of thing. He's got his back. It's like a
bagpipes,
There's
that's
a
right,
gloom,
yes.
so he's got it in his mouth, just blowing it and stamping his hoofs to the beat, almost making like a rock style bagpipe theme. And also just trying to charge around the group, bashing them with his shoulder to keep as many of them off as possible. It's just bashing it to inspire Isra to spew well.
Spew well, my friend. Spew well. Okay.
Yeah.
As the sound of this Zalkun bagpipe adjacent as it is drives back some of these spirits. With
Yeah, they're
its-
like, oh no, I'm not. That's not for me. That's not for me.
You thought they were all clasping at their heads from the magic of Susanna, but no, some of them were clasping at their ears. And you managed to hold off with the music and the protection of Courtney's patron and Yansuran, as the magic of Susanna's spell ricochets around and drives back the Guardians. You are left with one final roll of this evening. Make me a Constitution check, please.
I rolled it a few minutes ago.
Okay, wait, did you get your inspiration die?
Yes.
Okay.
I rolled it a few minutes ago because I thought I'd be rolling it earlier. So my current state of mind is that I am terrified out of my mind. This thing is still inside me. I've got the voice of this rock in my stomach yelling at me. There's dark water everywhere, guardian spirits everywhere.
It's
terrible
just
music
still going in your
playing.
mind. You are
My
doomed.
full energy.
You cannot escape this place.
And I rolled a 20!
Oh!
Yes.
If you've got them, folks, let those phoenixes fly. Fantastic. Okay.
Excellent.
Meant to be. It was just the dice roller was just saving itself for this moment.
Yeah, when you channeled all of our bad luck
Yeah.
into just like
Most
what
evil steed you've ever seen.
Glorious.
there must be balance.
The worst rolls of all time. Finally, karma.
And you. I just watched that that Dan Brown drama with Sumali in it. the lost symbol, what it's called. You do that thing, you're like channeling your energy like the spiritual kind of bad guy in that. And as you see this kind of shifting in the stomach port as you stand by through the swirling water, and as Yansuran is lifted up by the waters and raised up in the air in front of this throne of the god of death, the head goes back, and out of their open mouth emanates the bezoar of the bespectacled owlbear, and as it floats through, the goddess of death rises shakily from her throne, reaches a weakened hand towards it, grasps it in her palm, and takes it into herself. Yes. Yes. I feel its protection. Your poison has no effect on me now. These spirits of Theros are mine. Begone, back to your realms, back to your gods. Lesser though they may be, I have all the sustenance I need. And spirits start streaming in through the walls, held back by her magics. Lost souls, sinners, saints, all come streaming in as she rises up and takes back all of the death and the dying of Theros and sends them on their correct journey for one last time. And you all stand back from this scene. The final spirit guardians, the magic slowly coming off them, Susanna, Courtney, and I guess Essingash, you see them also drawn towards the goddess, released from their duties and sent to their proper afterlives, as they no longer poison her by their very presence. Yansaran, you feel a weight in your pocket. Yeah, you feel terrible. Yeah. Does a protection from good and evil help you against with aftertaste as well? I'm not sure. But
does the water that was weighing you up, can you at least wash out your mouth or something?
Yeah.
I cast protection from tummy ache.
Nice.
Here's some Pepto.
But you feel a weight in your pocket. A rolled up portal. What do you do?
I am happy to leave this place. I'm traumatized probably forever.
I think we all are now.
I'm gonna throw that thing down on the ground. And I'm supposed to think of...
Well, I did enjoy this one chance I got to play with Joey Haeck and Kelsey Dionne. Never again. You two, you're coming back. You knew what was here already.
So I have to think about where I should be going, or where we all should be going, or like.
It just needs to be placed on a surface. Or a faucet.
Place it on the surface.
Okay. Yes, it unrolls and ripples, almost becoming one with the obsidian surface. And beyond it, each of you glimpses a sight of your home realm. And as you look back at the goddess scourging herself on the souls that had been kept from her for so long, you step through and return to your home plains. Thank you, Sirenscape, for the timing. Okay. Yes, as you step through the puzzle, he's like, "What's that voice?" And as you reach through Amsterdam, the last to go through the portal and tear it off the wall behind you, it closes up. And you return once more back beyond to your own realms. And as you do, our scene leaves the underworld, out from the dreaded mountain, down over the olive trees and back to the sleepy Theron town, where the popular mercenary Achilles and the famous poet Tindarius see that the curse has been lifted. The priests are rejoicing in their temples as the dead are once more going on their way, and knowing that these mysterious adventurers from beyond the plains had succeeded, Tindarius starts...
Tim Darius? Is this the same? Is this that guy again?
He can play many roles. He's a very accomplished playwright. Tindarius starts to pen verse, singing of your great deeds this day. And Achilles turns back to his dice game as he enjoys the peace that has returned. The Gorgon is defeated somewhere else, doing something else. And
the Gorgon that he paid off to leave.
Sure, that happened. Absolutely happened.
Like, he's not an actual adventurer. He's like Gilderoy Lockhart. He's just like completely takes over whatever else is going on.
The word, quote unquote, was popular mercenary, not successful or skilled mercenary. And you return to your planes for one last glimpse of those scenes that we started with. But they start to shimmer and fade as you journey on to the afterlives you were meant to journey towards. And please, dear folks who are joining us today, do continue on our journey through this No Kid Hungry super stream that's lasting all week, right up until next weekend, where we're finishing up with another one-shot roulette from all of us, and so many fantastic streams in between. A journey on so many adventures, so many places, so many tales to be told. A journey towards kids with enough food, with enough to eat, so they don't have to resort to eating bezoas. Please continue to support all of the fantastic streams that are happening this week, and instigate all of the wonderful shenanigans and things that will entail. Thank you for your part in this as well, everyone watching. All of the people who donated today, thank you so much. Well over $500 just from this one session. Thank you. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Well on the way to their goal. And we are very excited to see just how far and how much good we can do this week. We will be back later with Candlekeep Mysteries, and then into next week we have the character generation stream for next week's adventurers, when we are joined by Quincy from Quincy's Tavern, Cucumber, Brian, the Felted Friends, and their DM, Ryan from Perception Studio, and Dead Aussie Gamer for next week's session. Let's see what the dice have in store for them. And, of course, that will bring us round to Rime of the Frost Maiden, the finale of our Deadlands campaign, Out of the Abyss, Barovia and beyond, where Yensiren will be returning as Esmeralda, and into Chesenta, a very similar place to Theros here, lots of Greek overtones and things there, and then finally finishing up with that next one-shot roulette game. A huge thank you to everyone who donated, everyone who supported, everyone who retweeted and spread the word. Thank you so much for joining us today. Do stick around as you head on raiding and head on over to the Games Tavern, where our glorious leader Reed will be telling you just what's going on, what's coming up, and where you can see all the rest of the fabulous adventures that are happening. Finally, let me say a thank you to you, four wonderful people. Thank you so much for donating one of the most precious things, time and the willingness to come and enjoy these things, and generosity of spirit there. Thank you so much for coming and helping make this a wonderful start to this week. And I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Not weren't too grossed out by it.
Thank you for running this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, absolute pleasure.
So much.
One last time, let's just pop over to this screen and let everyone see what I was dealt here. So, quote unquote, the PCs are evil sorcerers, says Anna, who must solve the mystery of why they are still alive. They all remember dying, but not all the details. The mood might be deadly serious.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't for long, no. But yeah, there you go. There is a popular mercenary who sets them the quest. They share a hobby with a character, hence the gambling at the end there. The characters start with the loan or gift of a powerful magical item, your way home, and at some point they encounter an invisible wall. If things slow down, such as an impenetrable fortress of death, you discover a secret door. And at the end, there is a reward of a song about their deeds.
Wow,
Excellent.
you put that all together on the spot.
Look
That was
Well
awesome.
done, sir.
Yeah.
Well done.
Wow.
As so
Weaving
often,
those
just
threads.
the random rolls came up so nicely, like having the radiant bombs, and having the links with Theros, and having all the different bits and things there, and all these items. There's so much things to work with, and just everyone let your imaginations run and enjoying this fine hobby and this fine cause of ours this week at least. And as we say goodbye, Susanna, or should I say, as you return to your own plane, Joey Haeck, where can people find you and what is going on as we say goodbye today?
The best place to find me talking about D&D or whatever nonsense has popped into my brain at the time would be on Twitter at James J. Haeck. You'll find me there.
Link in chat.
Link in chat. Wonderful. And if you'll permit me some gratuitous advertising plug one last time.
Please.
I'm the lead game designer, a lead game designer over at Ghostfire Gaming. Currently working on a project called Fables, a monthly 5e adventure delivered right to your inbox. Currently set in their dark fantasy setting of Grim Hollow, but with more and different tones and genres on the way. Highly encourage you check that out. Mean the world to me. Thank you.
Linked over there in chat. Yes, do. It is a fantastic episodic style of design. Very interesting. I remember hearing about it when it was first released and first talked about. And it's just fascinating stuff. And us, Maren and Michael here, our first kind of big thing together was offline, but online it was Curse of Strahd, and we have Esmeralda D'Avenue herself here. So yes, we do like some grimdark stuff. That's a bit more gothic leaning on that side, but yes, vampires. Good. Welcome around, Phoenix Ueki. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your time today, and an absolute pleasure to meet you as expected.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kelsey Dionne of the Arcane Library. What can people find you doing at the moment? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you can always keep track of what I'm up to at thearcanelibrary.com. It links out to like social media and stuff, but I'm always working on 5e material, adventures primarily, but also a game system that's built off of the open gaming license. It's kind of like my take on new school plus old school D&D, and it's called Shadow Dark RPG. So it would be really fun if you wanted to scope it out.
Yes,
and
indeed.
I run games for it whenever I can through Discord.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah.
So thearcanelibrary.com there, and Twitter as well. Links on there to the YouTube as well on the homepage.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, because there's this amazing thing with their encounters and supplements where they do these walkthroughs on YouTube, which is very, very wonderful and useful stuff. And the design of them with the one entire encounter on the single page for us DMs, especially in this digital age, where like looking at scrolling through things and through screens and things, is very, very useful. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I know Michael and Maren have enjoyed
Yes,
your work,
a lot.
both of your work
Yes,
on a
both.
great many occasions.
Dang, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Michael, Maren, thank you very much. And thank you for taking a break from offline Eberron shenanigans so that we might do more charity stuff this week. Thank you so much. So, everyone, that is all for today. We are not the only ones doing charitable things and working hard. As you may have been aware, there is the wonderful Jasper's Game Week also happening throughout this week. And our good friend Robert Hartley GM is currently doing a stream over there end of things. So let us raid on over there and see just what is going on and what good is being done on that side of the world as we visit our friend down there in New Zealand. I believe Mr. Gygax is swinging by at some point during today, so do keep your eyes on that. It's happening so later on today. Right, okay. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you so much. An absolute pleasure, as always. And stick around for the raid if you've got to let those phoenixes fly. But, as we say around these parts, Oyasumi nasai. Oyasumi.
It's me.
Bye.
Nasai.